Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. I'm your host, Larry Leese. Today we're diving into the latest movie and TV news from around the industry. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex, for sponsoring this episode. Check them out today at poddex.com. Use the promo code Larry21 for 10% off. I'd also like to highlight our newest sponsor, Audible. Check out Audible today for a free 30-day trial and free audiobook of your choice. Just go to audibletrial.com/Larry21. The link will be in the description. So without further ado, let's get into our first main topic. Venom, Let There Be Carnage official runtime has finally been confirmed. After speculation that the duration listed by movie theaters was somehow incorrect, the runtime is now official. The sequel to 2018's Venom, which sees Tom Hardy reprise his role as journalist and symbiote host Eddie Brock, was directed by Andy Serkis. Venom, Let There Be Carnage is set to release theatrically this weekend. Serkis' film is the second entry in Sony's Spider-Man universe, which draws on the friendly neighborhood hero and related Marvel comic characters to craft a shared universe of films. Though Spider-Man has been included in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since his appearance in 2016's Captain America Civil War, Sony retains the rights to the popular character, and the latest renegotiation of their agreement with Marvel Studios stipulates that he be shared between the two franchises. Since Hardy was seen wearing a Spider-Man No Way Home hat, there has been speculation that the upcoming MCU film will hold the first crossover, but that has yet to be confirmed. However, made official as Venom, Carnage's runtime, confirmed by Fandango's Eric Davis. In their pre-sale pages, movie theaters have been listing a duration that would make Venom 2 one of the shortest superhero blockbusters in the last decade, beaten only by 2020's The New Mutants. Fans were skeptical that this information was genuine, but Davis has learned the official runtime is only 97 minutes. This trend, bucking length, clocks in at 15 minutes shorter than Venom, and Serkis has addressed why Venom 2 is so short in his press appearances. The director expressed a desire to cut down on exposition, which has plagued many a superhero movie, and structured his film as a thrill ride, both of which necessitated a certain pace. However, he claims that the key story beats he wants to explore, the relationship between Eddie and Venom, and the arc of Woody Harrelson's villain Carnage, came with their own momentum that naturally pushed the film to its conclusion more quickly. Fans might be divided over Venom, Let There Be Carnage being unusually short. On the one hand, the genre's audience is used to be a certain level of expanse and immersion, and those who love these characters might feel shortchanged by getting less time with them than they expected. On the other hand, however, the prospect of a superhero film that is intent on tackling things that bogged down its less successful predecessors could seem exciting. Viewers will have to wait until Venom 2 releases to see if Serkis' gamble pays off. But if it does, it could signal a way forward for Sony's planned universe. And now, our second topic, Star Wars Andor has finally wrapped. And Diego Luna is giddy about it. Diego Luna is out promoting his Amazon series Penny Circo, and in the process of doing so, he happened to let slip that another little show called Star Wars Andor has finished filming. In Andor, Luna reprises his role as rebel spy, Cassian Andor from Rogue One, a Star Wars story. The series is a prequel to Rogue One, and it has 12 episodes in the bag for next year when it hits Disney+. Pan y Circo is a show similar to Jon Favreau's Dinner for Five on IFC, in which Luna and various guests gather around a table for a meal and some conversation. In this case, they're conversing in Spanish and discussing socio-political issues. Favreau, of course, went on to create The Mandalorian, the first Star Wars series for Disney+, and Suna Soon, Luna will be making his own addition to the Star Wars streaming canon. Speaking to Deadline, he sounded excited about returning to the world of Star Wars and representing the Latino community. He also teased the return of familiar faces at Andor, quote, saying, "You'll definitely see familiar faces. I can tell you about this project like no other because I can't spoil the ending if you've seen Star Wars Rogue One already. No matter what I say, I can't ruin the ending. In the spirit of not ruining the ending, consider this your warning for Rogue One spoilers." K2SO. The reason Andor is a prequel for Rogue One is because it would be a little hard to make a sequel, considering that Andor and pretty much everyone else died at the end of Rogue One, which includes Andor's droid buddy K2SO. When Andor was first announced, some fans might have been jonasing to see more of Cassian and K2SO's adventures before they became part of the suicide mission to steal plans for the Death Star. Back in January, however, we heard from Alan Tudyk that Andor won't feature K2SO, at least for now. Maybe they're saving him for the back half of the season. Alan Tudyk simply haven't filmed his part yet. Maybe Cassian and K2SO haven't linked up yet, and the series will explore their first meeting, similarly to the way Solo showed how Han and Chewbacca first met. We also heard that Andor will be set 5 years before Rogue One and the Battle of Yavin in Star Wars A New Hope. And now, let's move on to our next topic. The Avengers getting into a massive legal battle. Marvel finds itself in a legal battle of epic proportions. The rights for Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and other major superheroes are being contested. Recently, several lawsuits have been filed by various parties, including the estate of the late great Steve Ditko, to terminate various copyrights that relate to some of Marvel's biggest characters. According to The Hollywood Reporter, various complaints have been filed from the estates of comic legends such as Stan Lee, Gene Colan, and Steve Ditko. At stake are the rights to characters such as Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Falcon, Thor, and others. For those who have been paying attention to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is a lot of A-listers in the legal crosshairs. The estates of these creators are suing to terminate copyright so that they would be in control of these characters. Disney, meanwhile, is suing to hold on to the rights, claiming that they are ineligible for termination. Should this drag out and Marvel ultimately lose these legal battles, they would have to share ownership of the characters. And since these characters are worth millions, if not billions, there's a lot at stake. The logistics of these legal battles are complex. In essence, creators of written works have a right to terminate copyrights after a certain number of years. The problem is, Marvel is going to claim that these were done as work for hire, which would mean creators such as Ditko don't have any claim to the underlying IP. Similar lawsuits have been filed in the past by the estates of creators such as Jack Kirby, Jerry Siegel. Kirby's case was ultimately settled amicably. Siegel, who co-created Superman, prevailed with DC. Any Superman project must now include the following line: by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. But the finer points can even be more difficult to pin down. The most prominent current example is the ongoing Friday the 13th lawsuit. Screenwriter Victor Miller filed for termination, and the legal battle has dragged on for years. Problem is, while he may own Friday the 13th name and what was contained in the original 1980 slasher classic, what came later is less clear. Jason Voorhees didn't become the killer until the sequel, so Miller could, in theory, end up owning the name, while Jason is a separate entity controlled by the studio. The same could happen for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Costumes, origin stories, and other Marvel characters are among the elements included in their appearances at the center of these legal battles. Marvel could lose or have to share control of these elements, while things that came up later may not be included in a legal entanglement. It's a complicated mess. Medically, this could mean big things for the MCU and future Marvel Comics publications. Should the estates of these creators prevail, Marvel and the studios would have to share the rights to these characters, which would be costly. They would also perhaps need the estate's approval to use certain stories or character elements in movies or TV shows. It would also add red tape and money to the equation. That being said, there's almost no chance that Disney Marvel will let it get that far. They will undoubtedly settle the matter behind closed doors through some sort of financial arrangement with the creators' estates, and fans won't notice any impact. And now our final topic. Should the next James Bond care about continuity after Daniel Craig? Daniel Craig reset the series with his first entry. After 5 movies, does the next Bond carry on, start fresh, or even care? With No Time to Die, Daniel Craig says goodbye to the role of James Bond. After 15 years and 5 films, like the 5 previous Bond actors before him, Craig's era was marked by both highs and lows in quality, and certain controversial decisions, creatively and narratively. The Craig run is remembered by one thing, though. It will be the first time the series told one overarching story over the course of the actor's entire run. Craig's debut in Casino Royale was followed by Quantum of Solace, which essentially acted as an extended coda to its predecessor, something the series had never done before. But wait, 4 years later, Skyfall delved into the past of both Bond and M. It was billed as a standalone adventure until it wasn't. 3 years after that, in one of the most controversial decisions in 007's entire film history, Spectre retconned all 3 previous Bond outings, making their villains all part of the criminal organization. And oh yeah, that organization's mastermind, Blofeld, also happened to be Bond's estranged foster brother, using his vast powers and shadowy reach to not just screw with the world, but also torment Bond from behind the curtain. We don't know at the moment if the villain in No Time to Die has any connection to Spectre or Blofeld's machinations, but we know Blofeld is in the picture, making him the first Bond villain to appear in at least 2 consecutive films since, Blofeld did it in You Only Live Twice, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Diamonds Are Forever, which he was played by a different actor in each film. And no, Jaws doesn't count, he's a henchman. Now that Craig is stepping down, the question is the next actor in the series continue to be the same Bond that Craig played? And does the series pick up from wherever No Time to Die leaves off? Or will the next Bond not reference Swan, Blofeld, Safin, Spectre, Vesper, or any other aspects of the 5 Craig movies? Will M, Q, and Moneypenny disappear or be recast as well? It seems self-defeating and pointless to totally reboot the character again. Casino Royale was as good as an origin story gets, and so much of Bond's backstory has been filled in over time. And even looking back at his pre-MI6 years would leave us with an aimless suspense. Free prequel that is the worst kind of lazy, fill-in-the-blank storytelling. You know who Bond is? I mean, we did watch the 007 of the Craig era evolve over the course of his 5 movies. Without knowing where No Time to Die leaves the character, I'm tempted to say that the series should right up and send the new Bond on a new set of standalone adventures, just with a new face. New films don't need to rehash anything that happened before, but they also don't need to pretend that this is a brand new, fresh-faced 007 straight out of Secret Agent School. Plus, they should keep Vienna's Harrison with Shaw around, both for that background continuity and also because they're a great team. This is what the series has done multiple times before with minimal fuss, and no explanation for the recasting is needed. Whether the next set of Bond stories all connect is a different matter, and again, we're going to argue that they shouldn't, at least not in the way that Craig's did. Learning that Blofeld was behind the villains of the first 3 Craig films was not so bad. Discovering that Blofeld and Spectre basically existed solely to torment James Bond was a terrible mistake. Not everything needs to be connected to Bond on an emotional level. He can certainly be affected by the challenges and enemies he faces, but that can happen without them being part of Bond's family history. This makes everything smaller. Bond be Bond, a little darker here, a little funnier there. Bit rude or crude along. Bit rude or crude along the way, and let him fight bad guys and romance women, and occasionally have his own sense of self, his mission, his view of the world challenged. The Bond films have worked in the past and can work again in the future, because one can step right into his universe and not need to know what happened in the previous 3 films. We'll probably know more once the next actor to play Bond is announced, which we expect will coincide with the 60th anniversary in 2022. Then we'll see which version of James Bond will actually be the ones to celebrate that landmark, and which universe he operates in. Let us know your thoughts on the topics we covered by leaving a comment in the comments section below. And now, our newest segment, featuring Poddex. You can check them out at poddex.com. And as always, use the promo code Larry21 for 10% off your first purchase. So today's question was, if you could go to the movies unlimited times for free, how often would you go? I'd go a lot. At least maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like of each week. And then I really would watch anything that was playing. I wouldn't really just pick my favorite movies and watch them over and over. So yeah, about 3 times a week. Or perhaps watching multiple ones each day of the weekend. Let me know how many times you would watch the movies. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Send us a tweet at Cinema Gold Show. Until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.